Good evening to one and all present here. Thank you for your patience. We really appreciate it. The session will be beginning shortly. LawSphere welcomes you all to the session Data Protection and Privacy, the next big thing. About our speaker for the event today, Mr. Anurag Sushant is a professional legal expert who has completed his 5-year integrated law course from Banaras Hindu University. He is currently pursuing International Master Degree MBA with a specialization in data protection and privacy management from the Swiss School of Management. Sir expertises in areas in data protection and privacy with a good knowledge of GDPR and the Indian Data Protection Bill. Earlier, he worked as an in-house counsel at Tata AIG General Insurance Company Private Limited for almost 2 years. We thank you all for joining and let's move forward with the session. I hand over the session to you, sir. You may now begin.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you all for participating in this session, this webinar. My name is Anurag Sushant, and I'll be taking you through this journey to know about data protection and privacy. So, can I have the screen sharing rights, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, first of all, let's start what data protection and privacy is. But before that, let's see the factors to consider while deciding a specialization. In this session, we will cover what data protection and privacy is, an introduction to it. Then we shall look into the opportunities that are going to come and that are actually existing in certain countries outside India as well. Also, in this session, we will cover how we can approach this particular domain, this booming domain. But before that, we should look that not only data protection and privacy, but any other specialization, if you are choosing that, what factors you should consider in that domain. So I have listed 4 factors that we should consider. So you have to analyze what such a boom or such a domain is now expected to come in the upcoming 2 or 3 years. Now moving to what data protection and privacy is. So first of all, what this particular term means, data protection and privacy. There are certain other ingredients of it as well, which I will talk about. So what is data protection? What is data privacy? Similarly, you have heard a term, what is data security? All these words carry a common term, that is data. So first of all, let's be very clear that in this domain, everything will be about data. Everything will be about data. And data can be in any form, whether it's electronic or in physical form, hardware form, oral form, verbal form, whatever form it is. If there is any information about anything, that's a data. But we are not concerned about all the other data which are in public, but the data that is private, that is personal. So in data protection and privacy domain, we are concerned about the personal data. What is personal data? So personal data is the data or the information about an individual, a set of data or set of information which can make a person identifiable is the personal data. Now, the term protection and privacy in general English is very clear. Protection means to like protect something or to make a shield around something. Privacy means to keep that privacy or keep that personal thing to yourself. But if we look into this domain, the meaning of the term expands a little bit more. What all we don't even recognize now, like anything that we are sharing, we are registering on an app, we are going through a website that consumes our data. We all use Flipkart, Amazon. Flipkart holds our personal data like name, phone number, email ID, address, transaction details of the cards and all, whatever it is. Our habit of buying. So all this data is there with Flipkart itself. Swiggy holds our address, food habits. We are vegetarian, non-vegetarian, what all. Name, phone number, email, that is very basic. Similarly, any website that we visit, they ask for some cookies to be installed. Cookies track every action that you do on your website or internet. So everything that you are using today through internet is actually consuming your data. Just imagine how much of data is consumed per day per second, and how that can be kept within a shield. How can that be protected? How is the privacy of those individuals protected? This is what we have to learn in this particular domain. This is what we have to deal with in this particular domain. That's what the resource crunch as well as the paying opportunities or the monetary opportunity is there in this domain. Applying to the same in Indian market, as I already told you, once the bill is enacted, the Indian Data Protection Bill is enacted, Indian entities, Indian organizations, Indian companies have to comply with that in the coming 2 years. They have to make a structure, they have to hire people, they have to hire officials or experts in data protection and privacy to look into the compliance of their data processing. Just imagine the number of opportunities that is going to come. And as far as the trends are concerned, we have seen in Europe, after 4 years of GDPR enactment, there is a 67% of resource crunch. Just imagine yourself as a data professional or data expert in the coming 2 or 3 years. When this scenario, this boom will come in Indian market. Let me tell you very honestly, before last year, like in 2021, before 2021, I was aware of privacy, but just as a fundamental right or just as a development of fundamental right under Article 21 of Indian Constitution. That's it. Only putta swami judgment was the maximum extent of my knowledge about privacy and so. But once I researched about this thing, this domain, I came to know about this. I opted this particular thing, data protection and privacy. I resigned from my job. I left my job, focused fully on this, gave my whole 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week to data protection and privacy, learning about it, gaining the skills, knowledge, and everything evolved. And what all opportunities I just showed you, I'm targeting that. And my plan is to build a team, or you can say an army of data privacy professionals who should be the flag bearers of this particular field or this domain in the coming times. Now it's all up to you to consider the same. That's why I said this slide says why I opted for DPP and why you should consider it too. Doesn't matter whatever the stage of your career you are in, whether you are a law student or you are already an experienced person in the profession. This opportunity is such a big opportunity. I personally believe that everybody of us will get a share or a piece of cake in this. So just think about it. So yeah, that's my time for you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this session. You guys have enjoyed this webinar. And now for the next few minutes, 5 minutes or so, I'm open to any question that you guys have. In between, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Yeah, so you can go on. I'm just closing this screen share.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Uh, yes, sir. So I've got a few questions. I mean, thanks for sharing all the information you gave us. So that was a great webinar we had.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I being a student who has too much interest in about privacy, so it was great opportunity to know about the resources and about the future aspects of it. Uh, Sir, I have a question about the contract thing you mentioned. But if you'll see in India, as per the Contract Act, our age or the minimum age is 18 years. But if you'll see the privacy policy of Google or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media thing we can see, they allow all the children above 13 to make the account. So while making the account, they are by default accepting the privacy policy. So I got this question: is it not against the law? Is it the problem that we don't have any law? That's why we are adhering to that COPA, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act of USA.
Mm.
So what's your say on it?
Okay. See, there are two things to be considered. First, since there is no data protection and privacy regulation in India, whatever as a company or as a website or as an app developer I'll put on my website is okay. Nobody is going to question that. So whatever I have put in my privacy policy is just a very basic requirement as far as the IT Act is concerned. So whatever is there is cool. But once the GDPR sort of situation comes in India as well, once the bill is enacted, there is a separate provision for minors, the consent of minors. As we have read in the basic principles of contract, that the consent cannot be given by a minor. On behalf of the minor, the parents can give the consent or the legal guardians can give the consent. Similar situation is there under this setup as well, data protection and privacy domain as well. There's a particular special clause for the consent of the minors.
Yeah, sounds that even if there is some right violating via that contract, but still, just because we don't have law, the company can like they can do nothing. Either can I like
Yes,
can
yes.
die.
Tell me one thing, which is more severe? A contract, a small contract with a child getting violated, getting void, or the entire personal data of that child getting shared in the public without the consent or without any protection? Which is more severe?
So the second one.
Obviously. So if the second one is not, nobody's worrying about the second one, why should somebody worry about the first one? Nobody's worrying about where that data is going. Okay. So why should somebody worry about what happens to that contract when it is made between a child and the company? Nobody's worried about that. That's why awareness is also required. That's why protection is also required. That's where we come in. Just visit any UK website that consumes data, any European website, and go through their privacy policy and compare that with a similar genre of website in India. Look into their privacy policy. Until unless it's a very good website in India or a very good app in India, which has like gone through the rechecking of privacy framework for them, that's a different matter of fact. But mostly you will find that a similar food delivery company in India and a similar food delivery company in Europe will have a very, very vast difference in their privacy policy and terms and conditions and everything around privacy now. That's the scenario. That's where our judicial system or legal system, as far as privacy is concerned, is lagging behind. Any other question?
Yes, sir. I had one more question. I know that I want to work. I want to study or further continue my studies in DPP only. So for
Mhm.
that, what do you think? Which two subjects should I take as my honors subject apart from IPR?
Which year you are
What
in?
can be the another subject?
Which year you are in?
So I'm in third year.
Okay,
Third year.
okay, okay. See, generally in Indian education system, there is not much of an option. So go for the cyber laws first of all. Go for the IPR, and if you can get, go for any startup compliance sort of law, if there is any such thing in your syllabus or in your course available. That's it. It's
The
basically.
problem is that in our university, there is
Tell
only
me.
IPR. They have edit cyber law, technology law, everything under the chapeau of IPR only. So there is nothing else than this
Yes, that's
subject
what the
which I
problem
can
is
offer. Yeah.
with the education system here is, even if they will give you number of options in the brochure, in reality they will say you keh दो ही बच्चा तो है इसमें खुद से पढ़ लो इसको, या go for the batch in which there is a majority of students pursuing the same law. These things are there, but that's why I said, more than focusing on what laws you can study through your course or degree, as far as privacy pursuing DPP is concerned, work on it yourself, because no company, no body, no organization is actually asking for a degree on this right now. This may be the situation in the coming 5 years or so, that after 5 years it will be required that you must have a degree or certification in DPP. By the time, it will just be your experience, your skill set. Maximum what is required is a certification. That's it. So just study on yourself, acquire knowledge, acquire skills, look for certain opportunities where you can work upon these things, find certain opportunities where you can connect with privacy professionals. You can connect with me as well. We can discuss whenever something is required. You can ask me any queries and all. And yeah, that's all you can do right now. There's not much that you can do. It's all up to you. You cannot just trust, or you cannot just keep your baggage on the shoulders of your college or institute. They won't take it.
Yes, so sure, sir. I'll get in touch with you whenever I come across any such trouble.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Thank
sure.
you, sir.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So yeah, Japneet, you can take over from here.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a really wonderful session. We really appreciate you taking time for us and conducting the webinar. I hope the participants who joined us in the first half, also in second half, have got a lot about data protection and privacy, what it is all about, the steps they can take in their future, and how they can also be a part. As you mentioned, your army that you're trying to build. I hope really some students will be interested and they will be interested in joining you. As Sir mentioned, we will also provide Sir's LinkedIn profile URL in the group itself. Thank you so much all for joining in. We hope you had a great time and you learned a lot from us. Thank you so much.